welcome to FBLA Spotlight Interview. Today's guest is Zach Moore. Welcome, Zach.
How's it going?
Hey, so what is it like with you taking care of animals and running shows?
In terms of just the livestock industry as a whole, honestly, what I really do is I manage a bunch of sheep and goats for kids that like to go to junior livestock expositions and show their projects off to the judge. And these kids can, be awarded prizes or money for their winnings. And it's also just a thing that I think is very good for kids and a lot of youth to get into because it teaches them how to truly raise something from a young animal all the way to about a year plus old. And these kids truly learn a real experience, a real life experience that is needed as we grow up. So I think this is just a great industry as a whole to bring your kids up in and truly teach them how to take care of something and have a real responsibility. Yeah.
So have you had any trouble in taking care of these animals?
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, every day could be a new trouble. It just like with taking care of livestock, there's just things that can play out of hand on a daily basis. Some days and some things go perfect, but some days sheep or goats, they don't want to eat. Some days they don't want to drink. Possibly you could have injuries. One could break a leg, something like that. Things can happen. These are real life animals.
Okay.
So you got to just be aware, and when you manage them on a daily basis, you just got to be conscious and watching them to make sure that you're keeping them healthy and up to speed and in order.
How do you think you do in like each of the shows that you host for these animals?
Oh, so in terms of hosting, we really don't host any shows. So there's a lot of organizations and people who put on big livestock events, and we enter in those. So I help kids that are considered exhibitors. So you have to be under the age of 21 as of January 1st to compete in the junior livestock shows. And there's kids honestly out there as young as like 4 or 5 that are really starting to do it because they have a peewee division now. But in terms of like going to a county fair and entering one into a county fair, kids can start that at the age of 9, and that's something I really recommend that kids get into and try and experience because I think it's a great thing for them. But in terms of like you were saying, those shows that we go to, so basically how it works is the kids will enter in the show, and then they can bring as many sheep, goats, cattle, pigs, are mainly the large animal species that go to these shows. And so you can enter up to however many you want. And basically, it is an exposition where you can go and show off your animal. And a judge, there's a showmanship category, and then there's a market and a breeding category. The showmanship category, the judge will rank the kids specifically on how they are doing with their critter and themselves. It's a showmanship, so it's based off of you. It shows how hard you've worked at home, how much time, how much effort you've truly put into that project to get it looking its best and showing the highest quality to show the judge that you really understand what you're doing. Then the market, it's solely on how the animal is. It's in terms of how good looking is that one, how much mass, how much muscle, how much shape does that one have, and how does it combine it all into a good functional package. So that's kind of how the market works. And then the breeding, same story as the market. It's all on the animal. How good looking is that female? What do we think she's going to generate or project in the future? Does she just have the good female qualities needed to really make an impact on somebody's flock or herd down the line? So that's really kind of how the breeding market and showmanship really goes. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what is one advice that you would give to these students, like in terms of like animal caretake?
Oh, 100%. One big thing for me would just be it's a daily project. Don't think that with livestock you can make any shortcuts. So this is something that every single day that you have to put 100% effort in if you want to see results in the end. Because just like us, we need fuel. We need rest, and we need all those things to truly function at our 100% level. And if, say, you miss a day feeding or working or something with your livestock, that's just detrimental overall into how they're going to perform in the future. So it's just keeping consistent and making sure that you're always on top of it. And that's like going back to we talked earlier. It really teaches kids true responsibility.
So one missed day, it easily falls off track.
Yeah. In terms of, I mean, it's not going to completely compromise everything, but in terms of if you're trying to succeed at the highest level, there are people day in and day out who are working just as hard or harder than you. So if you do miss one day, that's just another day that the competition is they're just working a little bit harder than you. So you have to be on top of your game every day if you really want to be up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the largest animal you've seen like that they've brought in for
Like in terms of size?
Yeah.
Oh, so honestly, in terms of sheep and every state's honestly different. So I've gone back to Texas and a couple of the other states before. Oklahoma, they like their sheep to be a notch larger than maybe what we would deem our golden spot in California. I'd say our golden spot in California we would like to be like 145 to 165, 170 in terms of where our sheep are at. In terms of Texas, sometimes they have sheep that are a little bit larger, but in terms of the biggest sheep that I've seen at a show, it's probably 200 pounds, but in terms of being competitive, the 200-pound sheep is not always going to be as competitive as, say, the 160-pound sheep that is dialed in and ready to go. Usually, your winners will more so come from a notch lighter weight because they're just a notch fresher in terms of their body cavity. Once they get like 200-plus pounds, they start to get a little fat and soggy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's been nice of you sharing the info of what you do.
I appreciate it.
And to our viewers, thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Rafi Ramos, and that's it.